Welcome to today's episode of the Black Creator Podcast. My name is Khadijah Lashaun, also known as your Black Guidance Counselor. I'm here to guide you to the resources that you need. Today, I have with me Miss Antoinette. She is a social media marketer as well as a content creator. Antoinette, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. I am going to run into the questions and just get started right away. Is that cool with you?
Girl, let's do it.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So if you could describe yourself to this world, who are you?
Mm-hmm. Who am I? Well, see, I'm a mother, of course, to a beautiful little girl. And I'm a creative. You know, I really like to stand into that, and not just on social media, but just in life. I'm always thinking of different ways to do things, to come up with different things. I like to work with my hands. So I definitely say a mother, a creator, and somebody who just wants to enjoy life. If I have to give an overview, professionally, of course, you know, content creator, digital marketer, virtual assistant, branding specialist. I like to help small businesses solidify their brand, identify their target audience so that they can grow their business. I'm really big on entrepreneurship and ownership. So I think it's really important in order for people to do that, to really have a strong brand so that their business can be successful. So that's more of the professional who I am. But me as a person, mother, creative.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
Just one.
Just one? Daughter, son?
Daughter, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You had mentioned that you are big, just now you mentioned that you're big on ownership and entrepreneurship. What has your journey been like? How did you get into entrepreneurship and ownership, and what made you start that journey?
Sure. So it's funny because never really would have thought this would be the path that I went down. My educational background is in broadcast journalism. And the whole time through college, I just knew I wanted to be a news anchor. I wanted to either work for CNN. I wanted to be on there on the field, reporting on the facts. But I ended up getting pregnant my senior year. And if you know anything about news when you're just getting started, when you're entry level, you know, you have to work the late hours, the early hours, and they work you to the bone. And I remember going into my interview, I think I might have been 4 or 5 months pregnant at a local news station here. And when they told me the hours and I realized it was part-time and I would have to work, I'm like, okay, this trajectory that I had set out for my life isn't going to work. I'm going to have to pivot. So to make a long story less long, I went from wanting to be, you know, a news anchor, journalist, to then figuring out, okay, I like social media. This was back in 2015. I was really into the digital space on like online, Instagram, all of that. So I tried to get a job doing that. Couldn't. I didn't have any experience. So it was really hard for me to find a job. So I took a position as a administrative assistant at a subprime car loan place. So people were getting their cars repoed. They're talking to me. I'm taking payments. I'm doing that. And then one day a guy came in. He was one of the dealership owners because I would always hand them their checks. And he was telling me what he needed. And I was like, I could do that. So I ended up quitting my job and working for him. And that was kind of like my intro into social media and getting all that experience. So from there, I got other jobs in social media, marketing, more so kind of networking and, you know, leveraging my skills to, where was it? Last year, 2020, I got what I thought was like my dream kind of corporate social media marketing job. So excited. I love the industry, CBD industry. I thought it was, you know, really cool.
Yeah.
Doing marketing, email campaigns, like, and I was the point person, you know, leading a lot of it. But I realized, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I really feel valued. You know, I feel like I'm working really hard, but I'm not, we're going to keep it real. I'm not seeing the
money,
the dollar. Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And by that time, I had 5 years in the industry and I felt like, okay, I paid my dues. You know, I'm not right out of college anymore. I have experience. Pay me my money. But they weren't. So I was like, okay, let me figure out how I can start to freelance. So I started freelancing. And once I started freelancing, my sorority sister started a virtual assisting business. And she hired me on with her agency. And then from there, I worked for the virtual assisting agency as a virtual assistant. And then I did my regular 9 to 5. And I was hustling. I can't even believe that I did both jobs at the same time. Scheduling posts, working on my phone, working on my laptop at work, until I got to a point where I could just say peace out to that job and be a full-time, work for myself, virtual assistant, and really get into social media and be able to be the creative that I want. So that's kind of my journey into entrepreneurship. Never thought that I would be here, but I'm happy that I'm here now.
That's good. That's very good. That's important too. Because like I
Yes.
noticed for like taking that leap, it's like that realization, like, okay, there's like a cap to how much money I can make here. You know, I don't
Yes.
want that cap. You know, I don't want to
Mhm.
be prevented from like, this is how much money you're ever going to be able to make in general, you know, and
Right.
with taxes involved too, you all getting a cut with that too, being like 9 to 5 versus being a self-employed individual. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And then on top of that, having to pay for daycare. Like I remember the first year I paid a full daycare, you get your tax return for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I paid $7,000 in
Wow.
daycare. And I realized that, like, okay, any job that I get, I'm gonna have to subtract $7,000 from my annual salary to pay for
Mm-hmm.
childcare. So I was like, once I realized that, I was like, okay, I got to figure out some type of work from home situation because I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. It's putting family first too, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, so you had mentioned that you were interested in broadcasting, you kind of took a transition, you did administrative assisting, you did virtual assisting, and you're now like on your own, doing it on your own. So I guess my question to
Mhm.
you is, for anybody watching who doesn't know, what does a virtual assistant do?
Okay, so I love that you asked that. People ask me that all the time. And a virtual assistant really can do anything. I always tell people if you can figure out how to leverage your skills and monetize them, there's somebody out there who's looking for a virtual assistant like you.
Mm,
My specialty and background is in marketing. So a lot of my clients, I do, their email marketing, social media marketing. I'll either run their social media, and that can be creating content, posting, writing captions, that whole social manager position. I also have a client where I do more clerical work. So I'll check his emails, book his flights, pay his invoices, do research. But literally, as a virtual assistant, you can do anything. I had a consultation with somebody, and they're a business owner, and they're going back to school, and they wanted somebody to do research for them. So if
mm,
you are somebody who has, you were in school, or what going through, your master's is like, and all the research that you have to do, they just wanted somebody who could find articles, write blurbs on them, and then just organize their study materials. So
wow.
as a virtual assistant, you can literally do anything. It's just all about figuring out the people who need your skills and then marketing yourself to them.
Okay. Okay. Look at you. That's really good. That's impressive. That's very impressive. And I feel like the fact that you can combine all the skills too, that's pretty cool too, because maybe you're like a person who only like specializes in one type of thing, but that kind of
Mhm.
encourages you to expand your skills too. So that's cool.
It does. It does.
So, what was your childhood like? What was your family like growing up? What kind of things, what were you like as a child, and like how has that had to change as an adult?
What was I like as a child? So I'm originally from North Carolina. I grew up with my mom, my dad, and my sister. Um, Growing up was fun. I had a really good childhood. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. So, and
Mm.
when I say stay-at-home, I mean greet you at the end of the driveway with the juice box and the snack. Like
Oh,
over the summer, we would do like very hands-on. Like Monday, we were at the library. Tuesday, we would go to the park. Wednesday, children's museum. Like great mom. So I had a really good childhood. If I were to describe myself as a child, definitely somebody who wanted to be the center of attention, somebody
mm,
who was never really shy. I moved around a lot, so I always had to make new friends. Um, so outgoing, and probably very talkative. I love to talk to people.
Okay.
So that really hasn't changed, I guess. See, we right here then.
Yeah.
But I don't really think much has changed. I think I'm definitely more mature, but still like to talk to people, make new friends, be outgoing.
That's good. That's good. I think for me, I wasn't always talkative, but now I like, once I started having to become talkative, I just like kind of adapted to it. But
Right.
okay, so you kind of told me what your journey has been like as an entrepreneur. Was there a time that you've ever almost given up on your journey?
Girl, yes.
Yes.
Yes, like, so it was really difficult for me to make that, or I guess have that realization that I wasn't going to get into journalism, right? So I realized I wanted to be a journalist freshman year of high school. I wrote for my school newspaper. So I always knew, I did job shadows. I went to journalism camp. Like, I knew I wanted to be a journalist. I enjoyed undergrad, all of that. Like, I enjoyed the experience. I really wanted to do that. And I think I put so much into that. I made that my identity, that when that didn't work out, it was hard.
Yeah, you didn't know who
It
you
was
were.
really hard. Exactly. And then having a baby, having to deal with postpartum depression after that, and not being able to find a job, and it was hard. It was very, very difficult for me. I wanted to quit a lot, and I'll say probably wasn't until recently in the last 2 years to where I really felt like, okay, this is not exactly how I planned my life to be, but I'm happy, and I've accepted this, and I realized that things might not go as you plan, but your plan might not be the best thing for you,
Because you don't
Like,
have
I
all the
love,
information.
there
Well,
you go.
you don't have all the information. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. So I tell people this all the time. Like, I thought I was going to be a realtor, like
Okay.
pre-pandemic, I was really pursuing my realtor like license, and it was like the day of my test was the day that we found out everything shut down. So it was just like, oh, gotta redo,
Right,
because I
reroute.
had quit my job for that. I had like quit my job to pursue real estate full time. Like, I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I had to figure it
Oh
out.
wow.
Like, yeah,
You really had to
I really had to figure it
make a
out.
switch. Yes. So like, it can be, you put so much into this idea for it to completely turn upside down, and you're just kind of like stuck, and you quit your job. So I know it was almost like, what do you do now?
Yeah, like seriously. So I think you're right, as far as like sometimes you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing, but you know what feeling you want to have. Like, that you want to be
Exactly.
around family, that you want to have a life balance with your work. You don't want to feel like you're only working and you're not giving your family time and stuff like that. So I completely
Exactly.
understand. I completely understand. Okay. Are you full-time with this business? Are you still doing it as a side hustle?
No, it's my full time. I left
Full-time.
my 9 to 5 in March
Okay.
this year. So
Okay.
I started virtual assisting September 2020. And then, yeah, I quit in March 2021. So
Wow.
full entrepreneurship.
That's good. You took the leap.
I did. And I did transition. Like, I didn't just jump in. I never ever suggest people to just jump out there, definitely have a plan. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was something that I realized, what? I'm going to keep going back and forth. I'm not going to be able to put 100% into one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to put 100% over here. So let me go ahead and jump out and bet
I,
on myself.
I completely understand. That makes sense. Are you on a spiritual journey?
Girl, yes.
Yes.
Yes. I always say I'm stepping into my grown woman, I'm almost 30. And I feel like I'm confident in who I am. I'm loving myself. I'm realizing what really taking care of yourself is, right? Self-care, past just, getting your nails done and things like that, which I think is definitely self-care, but doing a lot of the inside work as well. Um, I want to get to a point where, well, I'll just share my issue, or not my issue, but one thing that I really will focus on, and that my thing that I'm focused on in 2022 is consistency. So I'm on this self journey of keeping it going regardless of what happens, regardless if it's a setback, if I feel like something kind of ticked me off for the day, brushing that off and
Get
keep
back
going,
up.
keep being
Just keep getting
consistent.
back up again. I got you. That makes
Absolutely.
complete sense. That's smart too, because I feel like that's something you need. You definitely need. Especially,
Yes.
I was talking about this in a different interview, but something is like I try to tell people too as an entrepreneur is whatever you're doing to bring the cash flow in, keep doing that. Like do that consistently before you try to do all this other stuff, because
Yes.
if the cash flow is not coming in, how are you going to pay for your bills? Like how are you going to take care of
Exactly.
yourself? So I definitely agree there. Consistency is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what, like when you say you're on a spiritual journey, is there anything like that was revealed to you during your journey? Anything that you realized, or any messages that have been coming your way?
Probably that, kind of like I said, I noticed that I would let something as small as like me being a little bit late, or maybe something not turning out the way that I wanted it to go, completely stop me in my tracks.
Mm-mm.
And I realized that I can't do that. I have too many great things to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Too much stuff that I'm trying to accomplish to let something so small during my day throw me completely off. So my thing is just I have to keep going. I have to keep moving, and I can't sit down and stay down when something, knocks me down.
Yeah. That makes sense. Has there been a time where it was like things could have gone so bad and like somehow, some way it just worked out? Like God pulled you through?
Oh, so many times.
Yeah. Like
Yes,
especially, I'm sure, especially during your journey, like when you
yes.
started taking the leap, because well, just tell me a little bit more about like one time that it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how, but like somehow that light, like a miracle.
Probably, I'll probably say so. When I was working my 9 to 5, long story short, I had a bonus structure, but I could never get a meeting with my manager to like set out my KPIs. And I'm like, I need to get paid. Y'all promised me this money, but I can't get a bonus if I don't know, what my goals are.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept having back and forth, meetings kept getting pushed back. And then my car dies. And I had my car for like, let's see, I got my car since I got it when I was like 15 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I think I was 25, 26. So I had this car for 10 years, right? So it dies. And I'm like, I just took this new job, right? Promise more money so that I can good to this new job, but they're not giving me my money. So I reached out to my aunt, and I have a really good family support system, and I'm so blessed for that. And she works in HR, works in corporate, and she helped me like basically figure out how to fend for myself or fight for myself, in a corporate
Mm-hmm.
space to get what I deserve, to really make me see that like, no, you do a good job. You don't need to have imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're deserving of this. This is how you ask for it, get it. And I pled my case. I was firm, and I ended up finally getting my bonus. Ended up getting a blessing on top of my bonus, we'll say
That's
that.
good.
And I
That's
was able to
good.
get my new car. So it was,
Okay.
yes.
That's a
So
turnaround.
okay.
That's right on time. That sounds like a miracle to me.
Yes. But the biggest thing that I learned in that was advocating for myself, right? And not being afraid to speak up for myself and flex my skills, because of course it's important to be humble, but you don't want to dim your light. And I figured out through my journey that a lot of times I dim my light, and I don't need to do that.
You don't. You really don't. You charge your worth.
Exactly.
Let me ask you. Um, okay, so what qualities or characteristics within yourself that you had to build on to be successful?
Confidence. So as being on social media, so many outside factors that you can end up comparing yourself to, especially as a content creator. We're judged on what we create. So, and like Erica Badu said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about
Your
my
shit.
kids.
I got you.
So really being confident in what I produce and knowing that even if outside people don't have the reaction that I feel like that they should have, that doesn't mean that what I'm producing is bad, right? It just means that the right people haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So confidence probably is one of the biggest things, because I realized that without confidence, that's what stopped me from keeping it going, right? I might not get the reaction that I want, so I stop. And I realized I can't do that. Like I said, I got too many great things to do to be doubting myself and not having confidence.
That's important. Is there was there any other qualities that you had to work on?
Um, that and the consistency part, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
keeping it going and being disciplined. I think that's a really big part of entrepreneurship that people, well, I think people who are in entrepreneurship know, but if you're on the outside looking in, you see more of the flashy stuff and you don't really realize how much it really is just doing it when you don't want to do it, doing it when you're tired, doing the hard part, figuring out how to do things, um, and just staying at it.
That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Well, let me just ask you this. What's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned, either as an entrepreneur or in life?
Biggest lessons. Well, one thing I'll say, and I think this is an entrepreneurship, but I feel like it can apply to life in general. From seeing other successful entrepreneurs, whether they be clients or friends or whatever, to just do it, to start, put action behind the things that you want to do. Don't always talk about it so much. Just jump right in and do it, because a lot of the times you'll waste a lot of time thinking about it, figuring out a plan, coming up with all the things that could happen. Just do it. Action. That will probably be it.
I think that is a major key right there. That right there, taking action, because people will get stuck in their head. Like you said, even I get stuck in my head. This whole podcast thing was supposed to happen months ago, So I'm putting myself out there. Like you're right. Like you're completely right. You do have to take action. Whatever vision that you see, and whatever thing that you want to pursue, you should just go for it.
You have to. And then as you keep going, you can make tweaks, figure things
Mm-hmm.
out, but just start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you believe in the law of attraction or manifestation?
Yes. And that's something that, I'll be honest, before I felt like I didn't understand it.
Hokey pokey, like the just like all this random stuff. Yeah, I understand.
I did. I was like, I don't know about that. But really, your thoughts, what is it? Your thoughts become your words become your actions. And that is so important. You really do have to believe that you can do something, not limit yourself. I My sorority sister who started the virtual assisting business has really opened my eyes and how you can really limit yourself, but you can't do that. Like you have to see things, realize that where you are doesn't have to be the end. You can achieve anything. So yes, I do believe in manifestation, and having the right mindset. It's all about your mindset.
Absolutely. I'm sure you manifested your virtual assistant, like being able to quit your job and pursue that. I'm sure that
Yeah,
was a part of belief too. Like if you didn't believe, you wouldn't be here right now. You would still be at that job.
that was the biggest part. Like, and I think that's it. A lot of people don't start things or do different things because they don't believe that they can do it. They think that where they are, that's the best thing that they can achieve. And it's like, no, baby, you could do more.
There's always more. There's always more.
Always.
Okay. Who are some of your role models in life?
You know who somebody I really do look up to? And I'm talking about her, but my sorority sister who did
Oh,
the virtual assisting business, like, because she really was so transparent with me while she was starting her business, always encouraged me, brought me along with her, will always bring me opportunities, multiple clients, like really looked out for me and helped me start my own business. So definitely her, I would have to say, Annalisa. So that's her name.
Okay. Annalisa, like Annalise Keaton. I'm not comparing her to her. I'm just saying I like the name.
Yes.
Okay. You had mentioned you briefly touched on the ownership aspect of it. Have you acquired any assets yet?
No, in the process. So what I'm doing, I do well.
You could speak it into existence.
That's what you do. Thank
Mhm.
you. My goal
Mhm.
is I do want to get into real estate. So right now I'm working on growing my business and doing that. But that is something that I would like to get into is real estate. I do, invest in the stock market and things like that, but I would really like to buy a property um and get into real estate. That's something I'd like to do.
So do you own your home yet?
No, I don't.
So would you ever consider like owning a property and like renting out
Yeah,
the
so I want
rooms or
a multi-family unit to where I
okay,
can live on one side, and then rent out the other side, and then eventually leave and then rent out both sides. Uh,
absolutely.
that would be my goal, so I can just get that monthly income every month.
You
Um,
you follow Doug Deputy or Deputy or I forgot his name. There's a couple people I want to tell you about real quick before I forget. Cause there's a couple of people who there's this guy I saw his video about multifamily and he was just saying how like I'm gonna send it to you.
okay,
What I'm gonna just tell you and tell everybody who's listening that there is a way, like you said, to get a multifamily unit, maybe a duplex, a triplex, whatever you want to call it. And but he was saying that in order to qualify for more money, what you could do is when you put, I don't know exactly the technical everything, but just the idea. The idea is that you are going to say how much you're going to make off of those 2 units a month,
mhm,
and you're going to include that in your income. So the potential income, the potential rent money could qualify you
mhm.
for more income to get you a larger loan. You know, instead of
Oh,
like the regular, oh, I qualify for 250K or 300K, like you could qualify for more if you tell them what your intention is. Your intention is to rent it out. So that's why I want to connect you with that guy that I was telling you about because he has like courses and stuff on those
please,
things, you know?
yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Julian Gordon. You ever heard of him?
Let me see. I follow a lot of people. Let me see. You said Julian Gordon.
I'm gonna share the profile with you.
Thank you.
No problem. But there was a video he had said, like, I was just like, my eyes were open. I was just like, he was like, it's easier to get into a multi-family unit than it is to get into a single family home. And I was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I thought it was the opposite, you know? So
Right.
so it's a mindset shift. So that's why I say tune into him, look at his free content, figure out if you want to invest in his course or not. Julian Gordon, for anybody who's listening, but from what his profile said, he's Mr. Multifamily. He has 238 students who closed on $59 million of real estate. So he owns 40 units and he's an investor in 4 funds. He's the author of Rich and Right. Just check him out.
I
Okay. Check him out. Because
follow,
the
yes.
multifamily thing, I'm not going to lie. I purchased a townhome and I
Uh-huh.
wish I had known about the whole multifamily route. So that's definitely something you really should consider and keep going on that path.
Thank
Okay.
you. I
Keep going on
appreciate
that path.
you.
You said what?
I said I appreciate the knowledge.
No
Thank
problem. No problem at all. Okay, so you want to go the multifamily direction. That's very smart, very secure, very building wealth, generational wealth. Those are the things that we like to talk about. So, what are some of your favorite places that you have traveled to or places that you would like to travel to in the future?
you. Favorite places. What's one of my favorite places I've been? I don't know if I have a favorite place that I've been, but one place I've always wanted to go is France.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I'm
one
right
of my
next door
goals
with you. I want to go to London, to England.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
One of the I took French in middle school and in high school, I've always, loved the culture. And I realized as a virtual assistant, why not try to learn another language and then try to get a client who lives over there? Maybe
And you could
be able to
travel.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh, you
so
need me to show up for this? I got you. I got you. Just buy the plane ticket and I'll be right
exactly.
there.
So that's something I've always wanted to be, and and I have a client now. She lives in the States, but she's from France. So I'm like, look how things are lining up for me to be able to learn this language, practice with her, and then be able to make this come true. So I want to go to France. That's one of my biggest places that I want to travel. So
Okay. That sounds like a lit trip to me. Okay. Uh all right. We're gonna get into some nitty-gritty stuff now. So
okay.
how would you define your wealth mindset?
Mm, my wealth mindset. That's we still on the journey with that because
Okay.
I'll be honest, I like to spend, right? I'll be honest with you. I'm one of those people that I like to shop, I like to spend my money, right? But one thing that I'm trying to do is be more mindful of what I'm spending, be more in the not so much in the moment, but realize, okay, we buy this now, but what does this look like, 2 weeks from now, a month from now? Do we need it? Can I do it cheaper? Can I make it? Can I figure out another way to get this? Do I need this? So for me, where I'm at right now, it's more so just being mindful of my purchases, right? If I'm just going to be all the way honest.
I
I,
understand. I completely understand. As a chronic spender, I completely understand.
yes,
It's very easy to go into that trap and just keep spending, keep spending, and instead of like, investing the money or saving the money, it's so easy to just spend it. That's why I always suggest people have a plan with every dollar before you spend it,
absolutely. And
so
that's where
every
I'm
dollar that comes in, where everything is going, like already have that set up,
absolutely, because I still would consider myself pretty new in my entrepreneurial journey, seeing as, I just quit back in March.
Mm-hmm.
So getting this increase of, you know, income so easily, you can look up and realize, like, what do they call it? Income inflation, where you make more money, you start spending more money, and then before you
Mm-hmm.
know it, you're right back to where you started.
Yeah.
So just really trying to be cognitive of that.
Well, the biggest step that you've already taken is recognizing that you're in a cycle. Because, like, a lot of people don't realize it. They're in a hamster wheel. You're just going, going, going. But you got to change perspective, So, what I was going to say, a little tip for you for mindset too is try not to say that, and try not to say that you're trying to do something. Say that I am saving more. I am, even if you haven't yet, because
No,
eventually your actions are going to have to line up because it's conflicting, right? It's like I am doing this, but then you're like, swipe, hold on. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, so it's, instead of saying I'm trying to do this, say I am going to cut down on my spending, or I am, you know what I mean? Like, just
Yep.
the try thing is an important distinction.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've actually had somebody else say that same thing to me. We
Okay,
have conversations.
confirmation.
Yes, and he's like, stop saying trying. Say you
Mm-hmm.
are. So you're right. I am in the process of working on my budgeting. Not trying. I'm doing it.
You are, or I am budgeting.
I am budgeting. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I am. You ever you ever come across somebody on Instagram? I never met her. I'm not laughing at her, but I just think the name is funny. She has a name called Bitch I'm Budgeting.
No, but I need to follow. That's
You need
hilarious.
to follow her. I know she's talking about budgeting and financials and stuff like that, but her Instagram name is called Bitch I'm Budgeting.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely
check
follow.
her out. Check her out. But okay. Um what is a saying or quote that helps motivate you,
A saying or quote.
or that you turn to when you're in a dark space?
Mm, oh, I don't want to be like generic and corny, but I'll have to say like just do it. I know like the Nike
Just do
say
it.
just
Yeah.
do it for me, like, because a lot of times I get caught up in my head where I'm thinking about, okay, before I do this, I need to do this. I need to write it all down so that I can remember it. I need to go here. And it's like, girl, I don't know. You know what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. So that will be mine.
Okay. It's a good one to live by. Um, okay. I think we already did that. We already did that. Okay. I don't have too many more questions left, but what I will say is do you know about like soulmates and twin flames?
Yes.
Have you met your soulmate or your twin flame yet?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I
I
don't think
understand. I
so. They
understand.
out
We
there.
we all there with you. It's like I asked every person just in case. Like I'm like, well, if you met them, I haven't been able to ask the follow up. Like, how do you know that that's your twin flame, or how do you know that that's your soulmate? I don't know. I'm on a journey as well. I feel like it's kind of hard to distinguish because you don't know someone until you really know them, but and you're always still getting to know them. But that's an interesting one. Um, okay. For your virtual assistant position,
Mhm.
your role there, how do you acquire clients, and what are some tactics that you use to keep the business flowing and going?
Sure. So for majority of my clients now, a lot of time, so I have core clients that I work with. I'm not taking any new clients right now just because
Mm-hmm.
you know my workload is to capacity.
I
But
understand.
before I get clients from the virtual assisting agency, but a lot of my clients or people that reach out to me now are from social media.
Mm.
People who see my content, like what I do. When I first started freelancing, the first lady that I reached out to and I told her, you know, my skills and that I could help her business. She hired me simply from my pictures on Instagram. She said,
Wow.
I like aesthetic. I see the quality of work that you post with your videos and all of that. I want you to work for me. So a lot of my clients and I guess inquiries that I get come from social media.
You do is it the reels, or is it like, what do you feel like the content that performs best on your page?
I think it is the reels, but I think what catches people's attention is the overall branding.
Mm.
That's really specialty is helping people get their look together, you know, on social media so that when people come to their page, they can do a few swipes and kind of already figure out what you're about. So I
Yeah.
think I don't think I do a good job at making sure that when you come to my page, you see, okay, clear quality, high quality photos. You know that I'm gonna post these types of posts, these types of posts, and those types of posts. And you can get a really good idea of me as a person in about 15 seconds. Um, and I tell people all the time, if you're starting your own business on social media or you want to be able to get clients on social media, your branding has to be A1. So yeah, I would say I get a lot of my clients probably just because my overall branding.
That's good. That's impressive. Because that shows how far the reach is, that random people from all over are interested in working with you just because, your social media is so well put together. So I feel
Mhm.
like that's very powerful. Are you considering, maybe, I know it's a little early in your journey, but like e-courses and stuff like that to teach other people how to do the same thing?
Yeah, so I do have an e-course. It's a 3-day branding workshop. It's called, I have another social media page. It's called Side Hustle to Main Hustle. And I
Okay.
help beginning entrepreneurs really figure out how to start their business while still juggling their 9 to 5. Because I understand that that can be something that's really difficult. So it's really for people in that stage. And we go over branding. The first day, I talk about like, what is a target audience? How do you identify your target audience? Understanding the difference between a demographic and a psychographic, and not just knowing that, okay, the people who buy my products are this age, women who live here, but they're also interested in this, and this is their pain point, and this type of messaging attracts them.
Mm.
So in my 3-day course, we go over identify your target audience. Once you've identified them, creating content that will speak to them and attract them. And then on the third day, we go over staying consistent with creating content and how to basically keep up with that so that you don't lose them. So that's a 3-day branding course that I do have. The digital product game, I think, is something that you got to get in if you're on social media,
You have
especially if
to.
you're a master in your industry, and really knowledgeable about a
Mm-hmm.
topic.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something I appreciate too, because I can see that you are good at branding just by looking at your page. So the fact that you have an e-course already, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that. So I'm definitely going to include the link in the description so that anybody who hears this interview and wants to work with you can work with you. But I did want to ask you, other than the virtual assistants, do you provide like social media? I think I saw a post way back when you do audits.
Mhm.
You still do those?
I do audits, yeah. So sometimes I'll do, like, for fun on my story, I'll do like what I call 15-second audits. So I'll do a quick 15-second audit of your page. But you can book a session with me and we'll do a full audit of your social media.
Okay. That's very cool. I think that's very helpful. I think I might think about eventually when I'm ready. But I definitely feel like an audit could be used on my page for sure. Okay. What is self-care to you?
Self-care to me is, one, detaching from work. That's something that I have a hard time doing. I'm always, whether it's client work, whether it's work for my own personal, like growing my business or my social media or my other social media page, I'm always tapped into social media. So self-care for me is getting off of the phone, putting that down, um, and being creative, right? So I love to cook. I love DIY projects. Um, I love interior design. So I made a kitchen table over quarantine. So I do a little bit of woodworking. So those are the things that I like to do. I love to go yard sailing, thrifting. I like to sew. So really being able to be creative and kind of detach from technology.
Okay. Okay, cool. I agree with you there on the like detaching, because it's so easy to like always be on, to always just be like scrolling and just checking and investigating. Like you'll always have something to do. You will always have something to do. So I think it's important to detach. Um, okay, I have 2 more questions and then I'm going to ask you my final one. The first one is, what are 2 to 3 books or resources that you recommend everybody read? And that could be about entrepreneurship, it could be about social media, it could be about anything, but 2 or 3 books or resources. It could be podcasts, it could be anything. But what are some things that you recommend people check out? And yeah.
So I would have to say, I keep talking about my good sis, but I have to, because she really did help me on my journey. So if you guys want to follow Just Annalisa on Instagram, she started she started the virtual assisting agency that I work with, and she put out it was a, like, your start to financial freedom course. And I read that, and that's when things really kind of clicked for me. Um, Seeing how she moved and then knowing her personally and seeing her and her journey, and then just how she really emphasizes your mindset, how you can do it, you can change it, there's nothing stopping you. So I would definitely tap in with her. She has a podcast. It's called Financial Flex. And she's always posting content about generational wealth and how you can have multiple streams of income. And she just lives a fly lifestyle, right? So who doesn't want to see that? But
Yeah.
I would definitely say her and all the content that she puts out, I would recommend.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So pretend that you are 5 years from now. Where are you?
5 years from now,
Where are you and what do you have? What have you obtained at this point?
5 years from now, I'd like to be at a point to where all of the work that I do
Hold on.
is
Hold on. I want you to say it like this. Okay. And it's important.
Give me together.
In 5 years, I will have, or you could say it's 5 years from now, and I am sitting in, you can like do it like that, but affirm it. Pretend like we're 5 years from now.
Okay. In 5 years, all of the work that I do will be based off of creative ventures that I get to kind of be the head person of. So I love virtual assisting, and I love being able to kind of project manage different tasks. So in 5 years, I want to be able to have a client who's in Europe so that I travel over there. I want to be able to have a client to where I style all of their shoots, and I style all of their any video, anything that they're doing on camera, whether they're traveling, they have a busy day, a set list. I want to be able to do that, or I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be directing people's. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you can say I am now. I am like, I am directing people, or I am, just say I am. I am is so powerful. Like,
it is.
In your affirmations, I am is like the most powerful affirmation, like the most powerful start to any affirmation.
I am. Ooh, this
like as if you're there already. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, and so this is something I recommend that you check out. The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's an audiobook. I'll text it to you, but it's an audiobook or a regular book if you'd like to read. It's up to you. But it teaches you how to become successful and the habits of successful people. Like, and it's not anything crazy. Like it's literally like, until you believe it and truly believe it like it's happening now, and then watch everything start to fall in line. Watch like people come into your life, or just like obstacles moved out the way. Like literally watch the path be laid out for you when you affirm that this is yours,
like that.
So that's, but I was just saying, just say I am. So you already said you are now styling people. Okay, go ahead.
Because now I'm in the mindset. You're right.
Yeah.
When you say I am, it actually puts you there.
Yeah.
Oh, and 5 years from now, I am a creative director. That would be that is what I'm going to be doing, being a creative director, whether it's in the capacity of having a one-on-one client, whether I'm working with brands. With branding, I love the look and feel of things. So I love working with graphic designers, working with people, other visual people, to create sets, create event spaces, anything like that. So creative directing, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Absolutely. I believe you. That time. Definitely believe you.
Help me out.
Yeah, I got you. With the creative directing. Okay, so I have another question that's not the last question, but with your virtual assisting, is there things that you delegate? Like, do you outsource?
So I have a client, and I have virtual assistants that I can outsource, like things that I either don't have the time to do or that are more clerical work. So I do have a virtual assistant. When I started with this client, I checked all of their email accounts. I now have a virtual assistant who checks the email accounts, and then if it's anything that they can't handle, they'll report it to me, and then I have the authority to do refunds, things like that.
That's lit. Okay, I love that. That's buying your time, which is important. With that, is that person in the US, or are they in a different country?
They are overseas.
They're overseas?
Yeah.
Okay. Virtual assistant who has a virtual assistant. I like that. That's smart. That's very smart, because until you take your head off, like until you replicate yourself, you're doing everything. So absolutely. I think that's very important. have you read the 4-Hour Work Week?
I haven't. One of my clients suggested it to me though.
I haven't read it, but I've read like the synopsis, and it sounds like you're kind of like already doing some of the things. So definitely check out that too. Um, what is one last piece of wisdom that you want people to walk away with today?
It will probably be, kind of like what I talked about in the beginning. Things probably aren't going to go the way that you think that they're going to go. Life happens, shit happens, things come up, but it's really how you kind of roll with the punches and go, how you react after the catastrophic things that really are going to dictate how your life turns out, right? It's not the catastrophic things that are going to dictate, the things that you can't control. It's the things that you can control. So if you're out there and you feel like you're either at rock bottom, you feel like things aren't going the way that you want them to go, you're doubting yourself, whatever it is, realize that like that doesn't have to be the end. At any moment, you can decide to get out of that. You can decide to change your mindset, whatever it is. The end is not the end. And I really think people should always remember that at any moment, you can change your direction.
Mm, that's powerful. That's very powerful. I want to thank you so much, Antoinette, for coming on to my show. I really, truly appreciate you just taking the time. I know I fucked up. Okay, I didn't even bring this up. My bad, because I didn't ask you about this a long time ago, and then I fell off. But I'm glad that we reconnected, and I'm glad that you came on. So I really appreciate you, and we will talk soon. We will definitely talk soon. Stay connected with me, okay?
Well, I will. Thank you so much.
No
I am
problem.
going to stay.
You are. We are. Absolutely. All right. And if you come to Maryland, let me know. Cause
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, like I could use your help. I could use your help, but I know that you do have a lot on your plate right now. So I'm just
listen,
letting you know. If I'm putting it out there. If you come to Maryland, let me know. Let me know for real. Okay.
glad to know I got a friend in Maryland,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Where are you?
in Kentucky.
Kentucky. Wow.
Mhm.
Kentucky. Are you from there or
I went to
no?
school. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. You like it there?
I do. I actually do, surprisingly.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm glad to have you on, and we will keep in touch, okay?
Yes, definitely. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Mhm.